What's going on, you Fealty people? I hope you're having a good day and hope you're ready for another video. We're going to get on into the not a review of Gears 5. That's right, a not a review. I'm not trying to say my words on a game are the end-all be-all of what a game should be or is or anything. I'm just spreading my thoughts on what the game is, and I'm just talking about the game. That's all. I really don't want to, be one of the content creators that's like, this is a gaming review. Like, not that those are bad, but I'm just a gamer. I'm not, like, gonna go, like, heavily in depth or anything. I'm not gonna give you, like, the frame rates and all that stuff. I'm just gonna talk about my general experience with the game, and that's about it. And we're gonna talk about today Gears 5. That's right. This game here. The game that I've got this cool little, look at this. Oh, look at that. Oh my. Look at the cool game. I like how in the reflection you can kind of see like my monitor. See, I can see myself. I can see myself in the game. I'm in the game. Golly gosh. It's in the game. Did he? No, EA has nothing to do with this. Let me check. Golly. So Gears 5, I just want to say a little backstory. I do love Gears. I even picked up my olden games here. My Gears 1, my Gears 2. That's the back of the game. My Gears 3. Oh wait, where's 4? Screw that game, okay? You don't have Marcus Fenix as a main character. I'll be talking about that in this not a review. How do you have a main character named Marcus Fenix and have a thing called the hero's journey, which for thousands of years has been the way to tell a story about a person that is a character in the story, and then make them not the main character? And then you're expecting me, someone who's played Gears 1, Gears 2, Gears 3, I've seen some most important people die in the game. Marcus Fenix's father die. I've seen all these unbelievable things for this hero to overcome and achieve and everything. And then in this game, Bip, where's Mark? Where's Mark at? Huh? Where's Mark? Wait, do you see Mark? Do you see Mark? Where's Mark? What? Golly. There he is. Look, he's one of the smallest things on the thing. Because he's not really that important. Now, I'm going to try and do my best to keep away from any spoilers or anything. Just because I feel like even though, the game has been out now for a little bit, I don't want to risk, just in case you maybe are thinking about buying the game, or you're waiting for it to go on sale or something, so I'm going to stay away from spoilers. I'm not going to talk about, like, the end game or anything like that. I'm just going to talk my general experiences of a story. So, like we're talking about, I don't consider it a spoiler that Marcus Fenix is not the main character. Yes, he is in the game, but in my opinion, he's the one I care about. I don't care about these other people. It's great that, for the newer generations maybe playing the game, because as you see, those Gears 1 through 3 are on Xbox 360. The newer generations can play and enjoy and learn about the game and have their own characters to love. But you know what? I read the Odyssey, not for the people that are the side characters. I read it for Odysseus and his journey. The other people are great, but it's the hero's journey of Odysseus, and that's been around for a hell of a long time and hasn't needed a reboot, even though a lot of stories take from that and redo it basically and change the whole story, and that's where the hero's journey has kind of in some way spawned from these old works and everything. And yes, they are reboots and everything, but you know what, when I'm playing Gears of War, it's like I'm reading the Odyssey. Even though Gears of War is like a reboot of an Odyssey type journey with this character going along this journey and everything, the character I care about as per Gears of War is Marcus frickin' Fenix and his gang. These new people should be the side people. Yes, they can have stories, but it should be told from the hero's journey of Marcus Fenix, because you know what, he's not dead yet, so it should be his story in my opinion. Just saying. But so that part of it, it makes me feel like the game's like of War 5, because I don't care about JD and all of them. I really don't. They don't matter to me. They don't matter at all. Like, I'm just like, oh, things are happening to you, okay. Like, they kind of like are kind of cool things, but to me, very And then on top of that, so story aside, because I really don't want to get too much into the story, even though I'm just going to say it felt very blah. And, when it comes down to gameplay, you're kind of just doing like a little bit of linear, and then a horde mode, a little bit of linear, boss fight, horde mode, you know, like none of it felt like, you know, it was just like, kind of like, all right, let's give them the basic model of go here, do this, and just redo, repeat, and everything, and then, you know, just redo these same mechanics, the safe mechanics that we feel have worked. It's not really feeling to me like they're trying to innovate or bring anything necessarily new, you know, so to me, very blah. And there were some things I did actually notice in the game, like reflections, kinda? What the heck is going on with the reflections in this game? I don't know if you noticed it, but you're looking at it right now. What the heck is up with reflections in this game? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, there's parts where there's, like, windows and stuff, and you're seeing the stairs from outside, and you're seeing walls from somewhere else. There's, like, all these different things in the game where it's just like, you didn't notice that in testing? Like, that's kind of a big thing. So it makes me wonder, like, did Xbox rush this? You know, did Havoc rush this? Like, someone rushed this, because this game isn't done. There's still work to do, and I understand it is very hard to do these things. Like, this, it's not like a game gets thrown together. Like, devs work really hard. And I've said in other videos, I really don't, whenever I'm saying things, I'm not really trying to come down on the devs. My opinion is it's the top of these companies that are failing. I think it's the people who are in charge that are failing and not leading it where it needs to be led so that it can be something great, and it really takes away from the games drastically. And that's why a lot of games feel like duds more than anything else. Like, granted, the maps do look very beautiful. You know, the world does look beautiful, but the flow of it just feels so bland. It doesn't feel like interesting. A lot of the areas sometimes don't even make sense. Like, in Gears of War, they rely a lot on the cover system where you're, like, shooting over objects and hiding behind objects. So it's like, well, how did this, like, lab get turned into, like, an arena? Like, you know, it doesn't make sense. Why is there certain things where they are? It's there mechanically just so you can hide behind it. And, of course, the enemies are usually on the other side of it. But it just feels like the same thing, even though it might look different. And, yes, it is beautiful. It just feels like the same thing over and over again. So as you're going on your hero's journey of these new heroes, there doesn't feel like anything wow to it. It just feels you know. So with all of that together, as per the story, it's like you got characters for myself that I don't care about, and then you got these maps that from the beginning to the end, if I showed you a clip of like a fight in the beginning and a clip of a fight in the end, you really wouldn't be able to tell the difference of where it's kind of taking place or anything. You know, it just really, like, by the end of it, you're just like, all of it is one memory. There's no, like, yeah, some of the boss fights were interesting, some parts of the story were interesting, but you're just like, well, I got through it. Okay, time's done. You know, and that's unfortunate. For me, very, like, I paid $80 for this. I'm not feeling too great about that right now. Not gonna lie. Like, rethinking that a little bit. So that's story. That for me, very bland on that. Not really worth the cost, you know. And I wish that they would have taken some money from other portions of the game that I'll talk about later and put it into this to make it better, and have their devs be able to take time to make it better, and even delay the game release to make it better would have been great, you know. But it does feel like they kind of rushed it so that they can get it out before, you know, Call of Duty and other things releasing later this year that would have been competitors for this game, so release it before them. So while people still have money, maybe they haven't done their pre-orders yet on the other games, they can pick up that market share, you know, and get their game out there, is kind of what the story kind of shows and says to me. And then you got multiplayer. So there's the 3 modes in multiplayer. You've got the first mode that I played was a PvE style mode, where it kind of is like a general map that you would get in the storyline of the game, and you're trying to get out of this area as fast as you can, and you get different boss fights. It's like, you know, kind of like a Destiny map would be if you're doing like a Destiny dungeon. But it's just kind of like, well, why am I doing this? It's just like a different multiplayer mode to queue into. And with a lot of multiplayer games these days, there's no real need to talk to the people you're playing with, because they're not, you can play them on the easy modes, and they're not that hard, and there's really nothing to achieve in this mode, where it's like you're not really unlocking anything, you're not really necessarily gaining much from it. Most of the stuff that you try and gain is stuff for the Horde mode, which I'll talk about later. So it's like you're trying to get unlocks and level ups and stuff for that. But, you know, aside from that, in this mode, it's just like, for me, like, I don't like Destiny. I don't really enjoy it. Like, it's just like a thing to play by myself pretty much, but it just so happens there's other humans there. So when you have other humans involved, you have a very high chance where, since there's no talking, there's no need to talk, they can come and go as they please, you know. It just turns out to like, well, why did I queue this up type of feeling, and it just feels so empty to me. You know, now that I'm playing WoW Classic and doing a lot of multiplayer stuff and getting to know people and everything, having to talk and interact and stuff, is really making me realize that the multiplayer nowadays is so alone, very alone, and this mode just kind of made me feel like that. Just like, you know, the maps are beautiful, but why? Why am I doing it? Like, for me. But that's just for me. You know, like, if you enjoy the mode, great. If you enjoy Destiny-type games, great. As long as you're enjoying yourself, that's all gaming is really meant for. But for me, it's just like, well, I'd rather play something else, because I don't really feel like I've achieved anything from playing this. You know, really any of the modes in this game. And then there's a general Horde mode. Yet again, the maps are nice, very beautiful looking, not really depthful. Like, you're not getting, like, you know, zombies maps that you'd get in, like, Call of Duty. Just very basic, kind of like, you know, arena-style maps, like, you know, kind of closed together, and just very kind of bland, and you're just fighting off, you know, hordes of monsters. For the footage, I got the basic. I recorded my basic playthrough. I tried the higher level ones, you know, that are much way harder, and there's a lot of different options when it comes down to that. But yeah, just for the basic, I just wanted to be able to get like a recording as far through as I could get, and I got to level 41 or 42, and we started off with a full team, but time was taking so long that people started leaving. I really ended up the majority of the playthrough was just me and one other person, and 3 AI. And 3 AI did like nothing. They barely killed anything. They wouldn't res you when you'd get knocked. You know, they were just like there to be like a bullet sponge and die, and they died a lot of the rounds, and it was really just me and one other person fighting off the hordes, and it still was pretty easy to do, you know. So you know, in the harder levels, yeah, it is a little bit harder, but it's still like, it was harder, but you didn't really need to talk to people that were there, and if you lost, you just re-queue. It didn't really matter. So it's not like you're leaving there with friends, you know. It's not hard enough or complex enough to really talk with people, because there's no real new other areas in the map to go to, you know. Like in Call of Duty, like, you turn around, and if everyone kind of like walked away, you were like, where'd you go? You know, like, so you gotta kind of talk with each other to kind of move around with their zombies maps, because there's large maps to open up and everything. You know, it kind of forces you to talk and work together when you're doing a random queue, you know. But in this mode, you know, yet again, like, it was interesting to be able to fight, like, the bosses that would spawn, and the harder and harder units that were spawning, and then the different guns you'd pick up and be able to utilize and everything, you know. But, like, the mechanic of building and defenses and stuff kind of was a very, like, rudimentary, like, it didn't feel finished. Yet again, like, it just felt rushed. It didn't feel like, you know, it was like an idea that they came up with but just never finished. And then you got the general multiplayer, the versus mode, where it's just a multiplayer queue of a first-person shooter, but with the maps that they make, it's just, you know, very bland maps. It feels like the equivalent of a laser tag arena, but with a Gears of War skin on it. You've got very homogenized maps where it's like, you got this one, like, alcove here, this one here, you know, one map will have one up here and here, you know, different areas, you know. But it was like very mirror images almost, where, like, you know, one side queues here, one side queue, you know, the spawns are here and here, and then you go at each other, and then as a game, you know, you're always going at each other in these general areas. It didn't feel like, I loved, like, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and 2 and Black Ops 1. The maps felt different It felt like you'd have to use different guns on certain maps. It felt like maps would have areas that would satisfy, you know, different types of gameplay, and it had good flow to it. As the match would go on, you know, if one area you were fighting from, you know, the enemy realized, oh, we can't really attack from here, we got going from here, and then they'd finally clear you out, and maybe they'd take over that area and defend from there, or, you know, would start moving to a different area, or maybe you kind of go around to attack, like, the enemy team from where they're spawning, so that the ones who are hunkered down and have to move. Like, there was a lot of flow to it. Like, you know, it would cause for every match kind of feel different, and throughout that match it would feel like you'd have to reacclimate and really change the way you're playing to kind of combat things. Whereas these maps, it's like, even though certain areas of the map might look different, it didn't feel like I was changing my gameplay or anything to try and, you know, have our team kind of overcome the enemy team and stuff. It just, like, felt like it was just, like, everyone was kind of spread out. It didn't really matter. It was just like a laser tag arena where there really wasn't anything that felt complex to it. So it didn't really stimulate me to feel like I really wanted to play it any more than I did, you know, and it just very bland. You know, it didn't feel like a lot of time was put into that as well. And then the last thing I want to talk about is microtransactions. Yet again, this is, I paid, what, $80 for this, since I have the Ultimate Edition or whatnot. I have it for free with Game Pass. I didn't know, but I got it anyway. If I'm going to talk about a game, I usually like to buy it, you know, instead of getting it through, like, for free, technically, with Game Pass, you know. So, that's a lot of money for it, but then to see microtransactions in the game, just, like, I don't get that. And I think that really needs to stop. And, you know, I think one of the things that keeps a lot of these games alive is that there's tens of thousands of other gaming channels. Like, that's also another reason why I'm not doing a review. Like, this isn't a review. This is not a review of the game. It's just me talking about a game. Because, you know, everyone wants to be a content creator. So you got tens of thousands of content creators that are also buying the game so they could talk about the game, but not enjoying it. But it's definitely boosting the sales of games that are doing bad things, like Gears of War. Like, there doesn't need to be microtransactions in this game. Now, granted, it doesn't affect anything really other than the Horde mode, because every time you, like, level up, you get, like, these unlocks. I was getting, like, unlocks of, like, skins, banners, different, you know, gun skins, character emotes, everything. But I was also getting these cards that are utilized in the Horde mode that give you, like 15% ammo regain or whatnot, and different things like that to make Horde mode easier, to make the harder levels of Horde mode easier, you know. And it doesn't need to be there, and it's like the same cost as, like, Fortnite stuff for these boosters. Now, granted, you do get a lot of days of, like, with the Ultimate Edition, I got, like, 75 days, and then when you're leveling up, you do get, like, boosters from leveling up too. So people can say, well, they give it to you for free by just playing, but you know how it is. The amount that they're going to give you that way is never going to be enough to be the equivalent of what you would get from paying. And anyone who has these boosters is just getting the chance to play this Horde mode, which really in and of itself doesn't feel like it's been fully fleshed out anyway. Like, oh, you can get, like, this turret thing, or you can put down spike strips and stuff, you know. But it didn't really feel finished. Like, there wasn't maps that really would be utilized for these things too amazingly. You know, all the maps were kind of small and everything, so it's kind of like, it was very just bland. So then to see these microtransactions there, for me, just like, you know, the game was already feeling but, like, you know, like, kind of like, you know, the story, like, okay, it was an experience, I experienced it. The multiplayer is like, okay, maybe I might pick this up once in a while to play it. But then you get this stupid microtransaction there, and anytime I'm going to open up the game now, I'm going to be thinking about the stupid booster thing. So why am I going to go play story mode when I want to utilize this booster before it runs out? Or, like, I'm sitting there feeling like, why do I even have this booster in the first place? You know, it just ruined the whole experience for me. Like, once I saw that, I was just like, why do you have to have that? Like, take all the money that you put into making these skins, banners, emotes, all these different things. Like, the emotes, you have to animate those, right? You know, the different voice lines and stuff, like, and put that into a more enthralling story. with a more enthralling world to play in that story. And then you'll sell more units because people will enjoy that more. Or make better maps in multiplayer, bigger, more enthralling maps in multiplayer that have really good flow. They work on the flow of the maps. Make maps that really feel like depthful in gameplay. And don't take the time to make all these banners. No one really needs banners and stuff. Like, who cares about that stuff? If your maps are good, if your story is good, if the world you're playing in the story is good, people will buy the game, and they will buy it in droves. Droves. Look at God of War, their reboot. That was not a very big game. It really wasn't. Once you beat it, like, you realize, like, yeah, there's a lot of exploring, kind of, you know. It definitely more to it than you get with Gears of War, you know. But, you know, the story was amazing. And, you know, you tell your friends, gosh, the story was so amazing. It was unbelievable. And then you want to talk with your friends about it. And, you know, next thing you know, everyone's talking about the story of it, and everyone's buying the dang game. You know, look at Red Dead Redemption. The multiplayer in that is dismal. Yet, how many units did they sell because the story was amazing? The world you play in is amazing. You know, like, and that game's only $60. You know, now they make their money back with their microtransactions and multiplayer, but people before the multiplayer ever was even out were more than happy to pay $60 just for the story alone. You know, so it's like, to me, it's just like, just move away from that mentality, and really the problem is us, it's the gamers. I do feel that if we'd stop buying the BS would stop. Plain and simple. Down. Alright, but that's all my random thoughts about Gears 5, or of War 5, however you want to say it. Thank you for watching. If you got this far in the video, thank you so much for enjoying the content. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Like, you know, YouTube is like a hobby for me, and I like sharing my gaming, you know, experiences and thoughts and different things from random games. I pledged my fealty to gaming. You know, I really love gaming, but, you know, for the people who really enjoy this channel and watch the videos through and everything, you truly mean the world to me. And those who leave comments saying, like, you really love the video, it makes my day. It really does. You know, when I upload these videos and I see people watching them, clicking like, you know, it makes my day, and makes me feel like, you know, raring and roaring for the next video and everything. And, you know, it's more than I can ever ask for. So I just want to say I really appreciate you so much. We're going to have a Modern Warfare video coming up in a few days once I can get into the beta. And the Sunday Let's Plays coming up on Sunday. And we've got more videos in the future. You know, as long as I can get time. You know, everything in life is, there's been a lot going on with, you know, crypto and stuff. So it's been taking up some time. But, you know, whenever I get the time to make a video, it's pretty much, if I have free time, I'm working on a video. You know, that's what I'm doing. So thank you so much for watching. You have a good day.
Like, comment, subscribe, and follow if you dare.